Welcome, welcome, welcome. That's John Oliver. It's not the real John Oliver. I edited out the applause and the laughter and all that. Anyway, this is Luxley. I am on my Boomkin, Caridian, who's named after a Star Trek character from the first season, which I'm sure nobody really cares, original series. And I'm with Failed Wizard, who plays Arcane. He does everything but fail in this particular video. Going to explain why this is a highly underrated comp going forward in Legion. One of the things that makes this comp, Arcane Mage and Balance Druid, so powerful is they can both come out of the gate invisible. Now in Legion, Arcane has greater invisibility and it's improved drastically, so that brings the element surprise. That also gives you an opportunity to set up a kill, which is not a good example of what we do here. But my Arcane Mage virtually goes untouched in this particular skirmish, which is really, really cool. You see, he's got tremendous distance on the Rogue. The Rogue is focused on me. The Warlock is kind of pillar-hugging, tossing his dots, which is what he should be doing. And I'm taking the bulk of the damage here, but that's okay. We're going to take out... Is he working with the glaives? Well, that explains a lot. He's just kind of going around. But as you can see, Failed Wizard didn't even get touched. That's one of the great things about this comp. It creates a lot of indecision. Here's what I mean by creating indecision. Boomkin, Arcane Mage. Textbook, everybody knows they can do big damage, so it creates a little bit of conflict about who to focus. Add in coming out invisible, it adds greater conflict, it adds greater indecision. I mean, watch what happens here. This opener is textbook perfect as opposed to the first segment that you saw. Mage is going to get a quick poly on the Warlock who comes out of the Rogue Shroud. I get him rooted in a beam. He's out of the game. He is completely incapacitated. I pop my whammies and it's good night. Warlock doesn't know what hit him. But how many times have you guys done 2's or skirmishes with someone and they say, focus the Rogue, go after the Rogue? And I don't even have time to type, dude, the Rogue's going to be invisible, which means we're not going to pick him up out of the gate. And even if we do pick him up out of the gate, the point is he might be in a position where it doesn't make sense to focus him. Sometimes, even though going after the Rogue might be the right idea, sometimes what you have to do is focus on what you can do and not the right thing to do. Have a pragmatic approach. Random deal of the deck gave us a Rogue and a Windwalker Monk. We both come out of the gate invisible. Like I said, this is going to add and give us leverage on the unpredictability. That's one thing that this comp offers as well, unpredictability. Some people are like, what, Boomkin, Arcane? That unpredictability works too because there's more conflict as to how to approach it on the opposing side. How do we approach them? What do we do? Who do we focus? That's what makes it great. The Monk puts himself in a little bit of a bad spot there, and Arcane Wizard got a quick poly off on him. Now the Rogue is going to open on me, and boom, quick Displacer Beast to get out and then come back into the fight. That's something both classes possess here. They both have a blink. Arcane has something called Displacement, which is going to add to their mobility. Great mobility for both. They can both get out of trouble, and they both have big firepower, because as they're focusing me, Failed Wizard is in a position where he could focus one of them, and he completely takes out this Monk, especially right after Karma's up. This is up against one of those uh-oh comps, Double Warrior, because it's Shockwave, Bladestorm, dead. And there's really not much you can do if you get stuck in that. But these two warriors basically kind of botched themselves out of the gate. Why? Because we're invisible and they have nobody to focus. Get it? Yes, underrated. Now they're in a bad spot. Failed Wizard puts him in a slow. I get him in a root. Now we have him. We just have him in our pocket. He's got Spell Reflect up. That's out of the game. We don't even have to worry about that now. But these two warriors they both have slows on them somehow. Not sure how Arcane does that with both of them up there for a second. But, yeah, we just happen to take care of them now. Mental approach is highly underrated in Arena as well, because simply, here you see, focusing the Boomkin, and guess what? That leaves Arcane Wizard open to do big damage. Now I could go behind a pillar, get a quick heal. I pop my mushrooms to pop some slows in case they come after me, which one of them is dead and the other one's coming after me. But that's the whole beauty of this. If they focus one, the other guy can do some big damage, and we both have that blink to escape. Let me talk about mindset again. As I said in the previous comp, I want to talk about that here because it's very underrated and it's very, very important to have the right mindset when you're doing arena or you're doing skirmishes. As I pop my slows, which are gone, thank you. That's a sarcastic thank you. But here's the thing. I was doing some 2's when I got my account back, my original account. I was on my hunter. I had no conquest gear whatsoever, 0 conquest gear, and a resto druid who was full conquest gear. Now, we out of the gate, that's a very good comp, and we won about 7 or 8 in a row right out of the gate until I ran into a holy paladin. And when I ran into the holy paladin, he just basically was spamming denounce, and even if I tried to CC him, he was avoiding it. It just became very frustrating. And then I got conditioned every time I saw a holy paladin, instant loss, because I was highly dependent on those crits, and he was taking me out of the game because I didn't have optimal gear. I had terrible gear for so late in the X pack, and it was very, very frustrating to me. You can't let that get to you, and that's something that I learned. That's an old poker term called going on tilt. It's when the luck factor or the RNG factor kicks in and you get a bad comp that you're up against, in a sense bad for you, and you get that mentality that, oh my god, another loss. And that's a bad, bad thing. And you have to be aware of that and nip it in the butt. Because we beat those 2 warriors. And we kind of had, oh my god, 2 warriors. That's a tough comp for us. But we beat them. So it can happen. And you can't let yourself get into that funk. So we were able to take out the DPS here. And now we just got to deal with the Disc Priest, who pretty much is resigned to the fact that it's over. But, works out pretty well. This is actually, I thought this was a pretty impressive one in the sense that we were up against a Disc Priest healer. They were huge and wide, and we did pretty well. Luck of the Draw gave us a Shadow Priest and a Feral. Now, Shadow Feral used to do very, very well in MOP, but the game has changed dramatically since then. But still, even in WoD, not necessarily a bad comp if the Feral is very tuned to what's going on with the Shadow Priest, who just hit Spectral Guys, try to switch things up. Now, if he was a Night Elf, he could have hit Spectral Guys and went Shadow Meld, which is something I often did, and it created a lot of indecision and havoc. But I don't know why I'm talking about that. That's completely gone. Spectral Guys not in the game anymore in Legion. But I have slows on the Priest, and he got out of some trouble, but big, big damage coming on the Druid. He's got no defenses. He's got nothing. He's down for the count. Now, I had both dots on the Priest. I would have thought the Pharaoh would have lasted longer than the Priest, but all in all, GG on our part. Once again, both of us have that big Arcane Blast and big Boomkin Blast. Luck of the Draw gives us a powerful Holy Paladin and a very powerful Enhancement Shaman, although things have tapered down a bit in Legion for them thus far. So we're going to get this Paladin in a textbook bad position for him. Watch this. We both come out and we got slows on him, got him in a rooted beam, and it's pretty much game over right there. Pop the whammies. All failed Wizard has to do is stay away from the Enhancement Shaman and just major damage. He doesn't even have time for a bubble because he underestimated our firepower. That's what I'm talking about. Being underrated works a lot of the time. This is one of those situations where everybody comes out of the gate invisible. We're up against a Feral and a Rogue. And we're both invisible, so are they invisible. Now, I know failed Wizard's invisibility is going to be up first. I happen to get sapped. Random lucky sap. But failed Wizard has perfect position. Perfect position on him. And the Feral's on failed Wizard. Rogue is on me. If they just focus one of us, it might be GG for us. Rogue is popping all his whammies. I'm at about 75% health. Still, Rogue is being tenacious and he's on me. They just made the mistake. They should have just focused one of us, especially now that I'm in smoke. And I get away. Now the Rogue has basically popped everything. He's pretty much, I'm not sure if he hit Cloak, but he's popped pretty much everything. Failed Wizard took care of the Feral, and it's GG. Quick comment from the previous clip. If they just focus one of us, their damage on one person, CC the other, which they could do with a Rogue in the game, it would have been a very different outcome. Now we're up against a very tough comp, but both these players are somewhat inexperienced. The Hunter, really not sure where he is or what he should be doing. So I'm going to pop some slows down. Now he should quickly disengage and get out of that mess, but he's 100% focused on blowing me up and power, where he should be disengaging. And quick disorient, and he's done. So now I'm going to see that the rogue just used his cloak, so all he's got left as a major defense is Smoke Bomb. That's kind of an ill-timed Cyclone on my part, but I wasn't 100% sure where Failed Wizard was, and I wanted to buy some time. Sometimes when you're conflicted, you got to go ahead and do it. Pop that defense, pop that CC, just do it. Don't think about it.